Welcome back, everyone. This is the 14th episode in creating a third-person controller. If this is your first time seeing this, check the description for the entire playlist below. You're going to want to follow from the beginning. Today, we are going to be creating a state for our aiming. This will slow our character down and we will leverage our state machine to prevent certain actions from being taken when we are in this state. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want the entire course right now, you can support me on my Patreon or become a channel member for instant access. Or skip the monthly fee and grab the full course on Udemy. Lifetime access included. Links in the description. Now let's get into today's lesson. Okay, we're back in the project and we're coming along pretty well. We've got our sprint, we've got our run, jump, all that, and the mixture of all the different states. Things are looking pretty good. And we've got one more state to add, and then we can probably start moving on to creating the animations. Now, we're going to do aim as a state. There is an argument for it not to be a state. One of the reasons that we're even doing all of these as states is to give us more control over how we animate things. Because if we have a separate state for each action, then we can control the animation player much more granularly, rather than not having control over that. And it's kind of hard to sort of just show you without like having a project or like having been through that yourself, trying to control an animation player, having like a large number of different animations and trying to do that without a state machine. If you've ever tried that before, you know how messy it can get when you have overlapping actions. So because the aim mostly just controls the camera, yeah, it probably doesn't need to be a state depending on what you're looking for. I'm going to make it slow the character down just to like give it a little extra flavor. Not all games do that though. And it also is going to help us control what you can and can't do. So one of the other big, like the major things, as I've been talking about, is being able to control actions. So we're going to be able to aim in idle and run, but if we're doing any of the other actions, it's just not going to be present in the state input. So like the state input for sprint has got jump, and we can release the sprint and go back to run, but it's not going to have an option for that. And so in idle and run, we will have that input for aim and we'll be able to enter that state from those. And so it gives us a lot of granular control. So I'm going to start by creating another node here. We'll move it right up between this and I'll just call it aim idle. Okay, so we'll add another node as well. I'm going to pull this up here and we'll just call it aim walk, maybe something like that. And we'll add a script to both these. They're going to inherit motion as all the other ones have. And yeah, we'll save these in the state machine under states, aim idle, and we'll create this. We don't want a template, default empty, create. And then same thing here, aim walk, empty, inherits motion, and we can save it under state machine player, state machine state, and open, create. So we've got both of those. Now they're pretty much going to look the exact same as idle and run. There's honestly not that much difference between them, except for the fact that I'm not going to let them enter jump. Or actually, you know what? I will allow them to enter jump, but it will break the aim state. I think that might be what I'll do. I might let it enter other states, but it'll break out of that aim. So we won't be aiming anymore. Which is easy enough to control. It might feel a bit better for the player. I'll copy both of those states over because they are pretty much the same. But the one thing that we're going to do is pretty much the same as the other thing that we did for the sprint is we'll create a constant for aim speed, and it'll be a float. And I guess I'll make it 2. Might be a bit slow, but we'll just go with that. And so aim idle doesn't do anything. We just have to update these. So if there's input, we want to go to aim walk. And if there's jump, if not on full, fall. And that's fine. And then we just replace the calculate velocity with aim speed rather than regular speed. Replenish sprint, I think, is okay to keep. Set direction is fine. Everything else looks okay here. And then same with aim walk. We can go back to aim idle if you're not pressing anything. That's the only difference here. And then the only other thing that we really need to do is to create a signal that we can emit to the camera, essentially. And so we can go back to the aim idle and we can create a signal called aim entered. and another signal. And this will be very similar to the sprint, aim exited. Okay, and I'm going to copy those because I want the same exact signals. You could potentially make a subclass or even perhaps hold these in motion because they are specific to these two states. What you would do, or what you could do, is you could create another class, extends motion, and it could just be called extends aim movement or something like that. I'm not a huge fan of drilling down that far. I feel like 3 is enough. But that's just a personal opinion. Like, there's a little bit of duplication going on here, and that is just a choice that I'm making for the simplicity's sake, I guess. We can emit these now, aim exited and aim entered. So I might just connect these up to the camera, and I'm just going to go on aim entered. I'm just not going to include that bit. So I'm going to copy that and connect that. And then same for idle walk. Click on the camera and then paste in that function. And so they're both connected up to that. And then same with aim exited. Click on the camera, change this to aim exited. And then same with aim exited for the aim walk. So we'll click on the camera and then we'll just paste in that function again. Okay, so in the camera now we should have 2 functions, both of them being called, or both signals calling these functions in the camera. So we can just simply do the exact same thing that we're doing here with input. So we can just like comment that out, Control K if you want to do that quickly, and then you want enter aim and exit aim in both of those. So on aim entered, we want to enter aim, and on aim exited, we want to exit aim. So pretty straightforward there. And so we've got that. So on the enter for either of these, we can just emit that. So we can say aim entered. If I could spell it, aim entered dot emit. All right, so that's for the enter here. And then for the aim walk, I'm trying to think because this is something that I'm doing on the fly. I would say it's probably okay to emit this even if you're coming from aim walk. I guess we'll find out in a second because I do want it to go from aim run to aim walk if you are running. But that means that it's possible to go from run to walk and idle to aim walk. So we'll see. That might need to be changed. We could potentially just go all to idle. It won't actually prevent the functionality, but it will affect the animations. Okay. So it's the same thing as before. We can't necessarily call it on the exit because we're going to be going between these two states. So we're going to have to just know where we're doing aim exited, which will be for things like when we go to jump. And if we go to fall, right? And the same for sprint as well. If we go to sprint, then that's not something that we want to be doing. We don't want to be aiming while we're also sprinting. Okay, and also I forgot, it looks like to change this to be aim speed. All right, cool. So that's updated there. We've got the aim walk, we've got the aim exited. That was in this one. So for the aim idle script, we'll just get aim exited, jump. Yeah, I suppose. I'll keep it in there. And then for fall as well. All right, so how do we enter this state? Because right now it's not really possible. So in the idle, it's pretty straightforward. We can just check that event. So if event.isActionPressed and it's aim, then we can finished.emit. And this is the idle script. So we want to go to aim idle, and then also just remembering that this does need to match exactly how the node is written there. So aim idle, and the same with the run, we just need to go to the run, and basically in the input as well, if event dot is action pressed and it's aim, and we just need to write finished dot emit, and then write in here aim walk. Okay, and so when you're going to run, you'll go to aim walk, and if you're idle, you just go to aim idle. And theoretically, this should all go together pretty easily. So we just run this now. And we can see that things move pretty slow. Now, on release, that didn't actually go back. And the reason for that is because I never actually did that yet. So the one thing we do need to also check is release. So in both of these aim walk states and aim idle states, we need to go if event dot is action released aim, then we need to go finished dot emit. And this is aim walk, so we need to go back to run. And then in aim idle, we need to go if event dot is action pressed aim finished dot emit, and we go back to idle, right? And then also on top of that, we need to remember to actually tell the camera to exit the aim. So we go back to aim walk, and here we want to go aim exited dot emit. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay. Aim entered, aim exited. This needs to be released. My bad. That's what happens when you let the thing complete for you too quickly. Is action released aim, so it's right for that one. So let's try that a third time's a charm. And now we're going in and out of that. And yeah, I mean, it feels pretty good. Can't aim while we're sprinting. If we're aiming and we go into sprint, the buttons all like feel pretty nice, to be fair. Can't aim while you're jumping. I don't know, maybe that's okay. Maybe you do actually want to be able to do that. But the point is, like, the action set's fairly cohesive and it works together pretty well. Like, I think that's probably the main like draw point. Like, once you put it all together and you've got a really clear set of conditions that allow you to move in between the states, it works well, even if perhaps maybe you've made a design choice that other people wouldn't. Like, I don't know about this not being able to aim while you're jumping. Everything else feels really good. So if you're aiming and you do jump, it just pulls you out. And you can't accidentally go into aim while you're sprinting. And while you're aiming, if you go to sprint, it like pulls you out, no problems. It just feels good. Really, and obviously this whole like section has been very front loaded with code, but once you make it to this point, creating another state is relatively trivial, depending on what you're trying to do. Obviously the ones we're doing, we're essentially just adding a signal and we're going to use these states to manipulate the animation. So for example, when we go to idle, aim idle, we might make the gun come closer to the body if we have an animation for that. I don't know yet. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all of our states. We're done with this. We can move on to start looking at the animations. I might have like a separate optional thing for doing up the constants here and making them available on the state machine so that we can like edit them a lot more easily rather than having to come to the script and change them one by one. There's also like a couple of numbers. I saw this sprint remaining, that this here could potentially be a variable. It probably should be like a sprint threshold. So I might have an extra video just cleaning this up and going through some of these. But other than that, we're done. We've got a comprehensive state machine that works really well. And now we're going to be able to hook in the animations seamlessly, which is the best part about using a state machine. Everything else now here is downhill. Should be nice and cruisy. Obviously setting up an animation that's not actually that cruisy, but in terms of the code, getting it to interact with all the different actions is going to be the easy part. The animation, this is going to be hard. Anyway, I'm not even going to include this bit because I'm just like talking, I'm yapping. All right, guys, that is all for this episode. Next week, we're going to be doing something a little bit different and creating a resource that we can use to create a bunch of movement stats that we can adjust in the inspector rather than having to adjust the variables directly. If you are finding this series helpful, then do remember to like and subscribe. If you want to get access to every single episode in this course, you can become a channel member, or you can join on the Patreon. And if you don't want to pay a monthly fee, but you do want to get access to the course, then you can buy it outright on Udemy. Other than that, guys, I will see you all next time.